Last night, Liverpool went out to the Champions League as they lost to Real Madrid 1-0 on the night and 6-2 on aggregate. In today's video, we'll discuss the 5 talking points from the game, whilst also discussing some big Liverpool news that has caused controversy among fans. There is so much to cover in today's video. And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. Before we get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Steven Gerrard has been out of management since October, but now finds himself in the discussion to take on a role in the England setup. We've seen Gerrard on our televisions with greater frequency in the last few weeks and months after he was relieved of his duties at Aston Villa. But that has not stopped countless links to where his management career goes next, one of which included a surprise link to Turkish side Trabzonspor. Gerrard was pictured in Istanbul, which only fueled the rumours, but he was there as a part of the Champions League build-up to the final in a city he knows all too well. And now a press release across England's newspapers on Tuesday saw the likes of the Times, the Telegraph and the Mail place Gerrard in contention to become the next England under-21s manager. It comes with current boss Lee Carsley is to consider his future after the under-21s European Championship this summer following 2 years in charge. Should Carsley decide to move on, reports state that Gerrard's interest in the job is to likely sounded out by the FA, as to with former England midfielder Frank Lampard. Scott Parker, recently relieved of his duties at Club Brugge, is another ex-international name-checked alongside Ashley Cole. The FA are looking to put in place a succession plan for Gareth Southgate when he eventually moves on. His current contract expires in 2024. With Southgate having previously worked with the under-21s before moving up to the senior side, it is a transition the FA are eager to continue. Liverpool's Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones are currently England's under-21 players, and the idea is to assist the transition in the next level with familiar faces. As for whether Gerrard would take on the role if approached later down the line is to be seen, as it's a step back into youth football with the hope of it acting as a springboard to the latter down the line. Liverpool are to raise ticket prices for the first time in 9 years. Junior and local general tickets will remain at £9 per ticket, but the majority of general admissions will see a small rise, although adding no more than £17 to the price of a season ticket. The club say the move is due to the rising costs, a factor which a fortnight ago was attributed to them posting a small annual pre-tax profit of £7.5 million. Consolation over the potential impact of the price rises on the fans was held with the LFC supporters board, who opposed the move. Next season we will see the opening of the new Anfield road stand, boosting capacity by 7,000 to 61,000 and providing an extra 1,000 season tickets, around 3,000 general admission seats, and taking the number of accessible wheelchair bays into the ground to 263. Liverpool are out to the Champions League after the club's heaviest aggregate defeat in European competition. In this part of the video, we'll discuss the 5 talking points from Real Madrid 1, Liverpool 0. A necessary approach. 3 goals down to a team who had only lost once at home all season and not conceded more than once in any game at the Bernabeu, did Jurgen Klopp have any choice to go with 4 forwards in the lineup? Perhaps so, but those options were further limited by midfield absences, with Jordan Henderson and Stefan Bajcetic both missing since the weekend's defeat. It looked bold, it looked attack-minded, but it wasn't too offensive looking once the game kicked off. Again, the Reds' problem was control and build-up through the midfield, as well as stopping Madrid's main man at the other end. Cody Gakpo's role was a hybrid one, not really a number 10 in terms of linking play, but being a true 4th attacker in possession, and presumably having been asked to slot back into the midfield out of possession. Though in a weird opening 15 minutes or so, his actual pitch play was much beside Van Dijk and James Milner. Ultimately, regardless of attacking numbers, Liverpool still lacked a connection between midfield and attacking lines, still lacked much in the way of creativity, and still lacked any consistency in impressive press. Blancos barrage. Although Liverpool had the first clear-cut chance through Darwin Núñez, Real Madrid soon imposed themselves on the match in the manner their expectant fans are used to. Alisson first denied Toni Kroos with a routine save, but there was nothing routine about a spectacular stop to keep Vinicius Jr.'s effort from close range out following a corner. The Brazilian goalkeeper produced another highlight reel moment minutes later as he got a palm to Eduardo Camavinga's effort from outside the area to tip it onto the bar. The next man in pristine white to let fly on the Liverpool goal was Luka Modric, whose fizzing efforts sailed off target as the alarm bells started to ring for the visitors. Underperformers on the big stage. Lots of good players, lots of poor showings. Liverpool have had a big men for the big occasion many a times over in recent years, but few have been in such this season. At the Bernabeu, too many of our potential match winners were downright poor. Trent Alexander-Arnold's passing was well below his best level again, whilst defensively he never once stopped Vinicius Jr. He did make a big block on Benzema, but he just hasn't had a good year. Diego Jota's goalless run continued with a wild swing and miss. Darwin Núñez offered nowhere near enough on the night, and behind them Fabinho's disruption was often wayward too. Individual performances aside, the team just still isn't functioning well as a unit. It's not dangerous enough consistently enough in one half of the pitch, and remaining way too open in the other. Dismal options and questions of Klopp's subs. Luis Diaz, Thiago, perhaps now Bajcetic. If we really need to classify the teenage rookie as such, that's the extent of an even vaguely offensive-minded absentees Liverpool had on the night. And yet we needed goals and impetus. Who was there to turn to? A still not fit Jota started without a goal in 11 months. Firmino, who is leaving in a couple of months, came on. And then so did Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's also out of contract and hadn't played in Europe all season. How is this the state of paucity in the squad? The alternatives offered no more reason for optimism than a random call of the ox. Shaped Dice Curtis Jones had played about 320 minutes this season. Naby Keita has basically been ostracised since the Wolves debacle. Fabio Carvalho is a kid with 5 league minutes to his name since 22nd of October. Arthur isn't even registered in the Champions League squad. Overhaul doesn't even begin to describe the depth of work needed in the centre of the park this summer, even if the outright forwards are not added too, and that's far from definitely wise course of action as things stand. Recruitment is only part of it too. There are valid questions to ask of Jurgen Klopp over his use or non-use of some squad members during different parts of the campaign. Add into the choice to take Núñez off at the stage he did, it was a tantamount waving the white flag. Liverpool needed goals in the club's potential record signing. The centre-forward signed to score some goals in the biggest of games was removed. It's a tough message for fans to receive, as well as, again, bringing questions of whether the manager is really getting the best out of some of the individuals. 17 days to get prepared. With the match against Fulham postponed at the weekend, it's now 17 days until our next game. That empty run includes an international break, so it's not all training and recuperation time, but it's still a big chunk of practice and preparation. And Liverpool are going to need it. After so many false dawns, even since the World Cup, we can now accept this year is simply awful and won't be consistent in terms of performance level, but Klopp still does have to find a way to take out more consistent results. We return to action at Manchester City, then face Chelsea away and Arsenal at home. 3 huge games in any season, but this time 3 which might define whether we can really make a late charge for the top 4. Needless to say, the Reds cannot afford to have any outings with the mindset and quality shown against Bournemouth. The game was almost a gimme after the first leg abomination, a match to try and re-establish certain ways of playing or defending which could be beneficial later in the season. In the end, we didn't even muster a clean sheet, let alone one of the 3 goals we needed for a chance of progression. A very poor 4 days for Liverpool and a season choke full of terrible days. Liverpool fans, what do you make of the increase in season ticket prices? And do you think the 17 days off will give us a boost going into the final part of the season? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. Please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.